All right, what's up, guys? As I had said before, we were going to do some episodes in English, and this is our first English episode with my friend here, David Lemus. And funny story how we met. We met last summer after an El Salvador game at the parking lot of Red Bull Arena, and we've been in touch ever since, and we've been wanting to do this ever since, too. Um, Very down to earth guy. I'm happy to be doing this with you, man. And hey, man, welcome to the show, bro.
Hey Chris, how you doing? First of all, just a big thank you for having me. Like you said, we've been talking about this opportunity for months, and we're finally here. And I'm excited,
Yeah,
to see what awaits us. And yeah.
yeah,
To add to that story, man, that was a crazy night, man. It was raining that day. Calmed down a bit, and yeah, we decided to park at the very top of that parking lot, and
yeah, yeah,
just to wait the whole traffic situation and cracked open a few beers, and the rest is history. But here we are now.
yeah, yeah. I didn't even know you were half Puerto Rican, right? You're Salvadoran Puerto Rican
Salvadorian and Dominican.
and Dominican. Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay. Because you
Mhm.
gave me a beer, a medalla, I think it was
Medalla,
called.
yeah. That's only because I had gone to Puerto Rico about a month prior to that game, so I had
All
fallen
right,
in
all
love
right.
with that beer. It's a smooth beer. I
You were
recommend the
you were
Medalla.
loaded. You were loaded
Yes,
on medalla.
everything, man.
Yeah, that was my first shot at it, man. That was cool, man. All right. No,
Yes.
yeah, that's sorry about that. I know you guys don't like to be
No, no,
mistaken.
no,
So
not at
yeah.
all, man. As Latinos, man, Latinos up.
All right. Oh no, that's good. All right, so that's good. You know what? Because I was going to ask you about El Salvador's group in the qualifiers because they're in the group with Puerto Rico, but I guess we don't have to worry about mixed feelings anymore.
No,
You
not at
know?
all. El Salvador
Yeah.
hasta arriba.
Yeah, exactly, bro. Exactly, man. Yeah, no, man. So, like we were talking before the show about the weekend and the games, and you heard my show yesterday that you seem to really agree with a lot of what I was saying. Um, like first of all, like the game itself, though, Vinicius didn't play, so they won
That's correct. He was
two
suspended.
zero. Yeah, they won 2-0 against Athletic Bilbao, a great team. Well, I mean, I really have a lot of respect for that team because of their philosophy, that they only allow players from Basque country of northern Spain to
Yes.
play there. Yeah, and or only players that were
In
uh,
their academy, in their youth academy.
from their academy. Yeah, that were formed there. Yeah, so that's they were developed there. So, dude, I think that's amazing how they can stay consistently at the very top level of Spain, year after year. And after Barcelona, they're the second team with the most Copa del Rey wins, and they're in the final too against Mallorca. That's huge to me. That's huge with that philosophy. I think that's huge.
No,
But Real Madrid played really good, man. That was I don't know what you think. And
no, I
did you
agree
see the
with you
game? What do you think?
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah, Bilbao, they're definitely not a bunch of slouches. Huge respect, and they have a great tradition. I've always admired that. It must be very hard because you look at these other teams and they go out and look for talent, but they have their vision set on what they want and they go for it. But a very respectable team has always played hard over the years, and I know the last couple of matches have been a little lopsided towards Real Madrid, but that's the price to play. But yeah, no, I agree with you with everything you said on the prior video. I think Real Madrid had a great game. The first couple of minutes, Bilbao was passing very well, and it looked like Madrid was a bit off their comfort zone. But other than that, man, they took over possession. Tony Kroos had a great game. I mean, I love the
yeah,
guy. How can you
yeah,
not love him, man? He's a
yeah,
general.
man.
That's what he is. The way he controls the game, controls the pitch. It's just awesome to see. And it's a shame that his career, might come to an end very soon. You just gotta admire and just savor the moments.
Yeah, man. No, I was just thinking that as soon as you mentioned Tony Kroos, and when I mentioned Tony Kroos yesterday, man, I told myself this sucks to think that this guy is gonna leave us soon, and he's gonna leave. Modric is gonna leave too.
Yes,
But I don't know
Modric,
if yeah, and Modric is
Modric
gonna
is
leave too,
closer to 40 at this point.
and it hurts
But
to see, man. It hurts to see these beasts, these creative geniuses, man. It's just Because when you see the players that are coming up after them, like Chomani, they're good. Don't get me wrong. I like them. They're really good, but they don't have the creative genius of Kroos and Modric. They're going to become uh, more of a muscle team in the midfield than these, this creative brain that you got with Kroos and Modric. It's going to be very different, man. It's gonna.
No, no,
I think I already miss Modric and he hasn't left yet. You know what I mean?
I do too. I mean, we've been
Yeah.
spoiled as the last what 10 years. It's
Yeah.
been nothing but
Yeah.
great midfield play, and we thought we were going to suffer because at that point we had Xabi Alonso too, who held it down for us, another general. But like prior to your other video, again, there's nothing better than seeing great midfield play, great defense, and that's what we saw. You know, I don't expect anything else from Real Madrid, in all honesty.
And
Look at
Rodrigo,
Bellingham, Rodrigo, great
Rodrigo
too.
finally scored again.
Twice. He needed
Yeah.
that, especially for what's coming. Uh,
Yeah.
very, very big
Absolutely.
month for us as Madridistas. But yeah, how do you feel about the upcoming matches, man? It's going to be a busy, busy month.
Well, if you're thinking about Champions League, I'm not so optimistic. Um, but I'll honestly, I'm very honest when it comes to how my teams are looking. Um, Manchester City's a they're a better team. There's no way around it. There's no way to twist that around. They're a better team. And they have been for a while. Real Madrid beat them in 2022. Do you remember that in the
Yes,
semifinal back in
yes.
April, May of
That was a
2022?
great run. Great run.
Dude, Manchester City
Epic
was
run.
better. Was
Yes,
better
it
those
was.
180 minutes, way better. And Real Madrid was able to pull it through. I don't know how they pulled it off, but they did it. And that's like Real Madrid has this mystique. They're able to pull that off every now and then, when you're against the ropes. I mean, I
Yeah.
know that's not always going to happen. It's not always going to be the case, but it's enough for me to say that I can't rule them out completely, you know. But I will say that Man City is 70%, 70-30 over Real Madrid right now for that game. Um, it's just like we were saying before we started rolling here. They have a great coach and just an overall great squad, and they're playing the best soccer right now. I can't ignore that. I can't turn a blind eye, no matter how much of a Real Madrid fan I can be.
No, without a doubt. I mean, you have half of the one of the best strikers in the world in Holland. Unbelievable. I mean, the guy's scoring 3, 4 goals a game. It's unbelievable. I can't believe it. But yeah, I mean, with Pep Guardiola, he's had Real Madrid's number for many, many years now. It all started with the Tiki Taka football and those Barcelona teams that humiliated Madrid at home and come now. It's just those. I'd rather not remember those in all honesty. But yeah, it's gonna be a big challenge, man. I don't see much. It's very tough. They're just on another level when it comes to it. So they're just in a better league, in my opinion. The EPL for the last 20 years has just been on another level, and always have to
Yeah,
have faith. As
best
Real
league in the
Madrid,
world.
when it comes to coming back, battling through adversity, elite. I trust our players, but I just think that the better team right now is Man City.
Yeah, man. And like you said, the better league. They're in a better league. EPL is the
Yes,
best league in the world. There's no way around that, man. I could tune into the EPL. Any game is going to be a good game, like a
always.
guaranteed game. Yeah, it's going to be a good game. It's going to be high pace. There's going to be precision. There's going to be intensity. There's just all around, and even at the stage level, just the stadiums itself, like the chanting, the
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 passion,
atmosphere
the
all
energy,
around it.
everything.
Yeah,
It's just, I
everything.
mean,
Yeah,
the tradition.
yeah,
Some teams you see, you go online and see. I had never been. I want to. That's my dream. But you see some teams, just on the way to the stadiums, to the arenas. Just so much emotion, so much energy.
yeah.
The beauty, man.
Oh yeah.
Gotta
Oh, like
respect
you
that.
said, tradition. You said
Yes.
you made a good point there. The tradition, they culturally they prioritize the Premier League. All the English teams they prioritize the Premier League over the Champions League. Because a lot of times people confuse it, saying, and I'm not saying they don't want to win the Champions League. I'm just saying culturally they've always prioritized the league. It's just their culture. It's
It's
it's how
their
they
pride,
they
the
they
pride they have
live
to
it. Yeah,
respect.
it's their pride and joy. Yeah. Um, it's not to say that they didn't want to win the Champions League. It just wasn't the priority. And it still isn't really for a lot of these teams. Of course, they want to
No, not at
advance. Of
all.
course, they want to win, but it's just not their. I mean, being redundant, I know, but it's just not their bread and butter. And a lot of people confused it over the last 12, 15 years when Spanish teams were dominating in Champions League, and they were saying, "Oh, that's proof that that's the best league in the world." In my eyes, the Spanish league, yes, it's an elite league, it's a top league, but it was never the best in the world. Never.
Yes.
You know,
And
it used to
let
be.
me
Yeah, it was. Go ahead.
piggyback off of that too. Let's talk about England. I mean, you look at England over the last 20 years, 25 years, look at those teams: David Beckham, Rio Ferdinand, Michael Owens. Those teams, you would look at them and you're like, this team is destined for glory. There is no way on earth they're going to be stopped in the '02 World Cup, '06, and they didn't make any noise. And you look at England, what in the last 5 years, they make it to the Euro final, they lose it.
Mm.
Great against a great team against Italy, but to me, this is their best football in a while. A lot of young studs on that team. Bellingham, again, I can't, the defense,
Yeah,
a lot of
he played a great
people,
World Cup, man.
they rip Maguire, but Maguire, man, he's a starter on that team for a reason. They look at him as a leader, but in all
Maguire's
honesty,
a
yeah,
meme outside of England. That boy's a meme. It sucks, but
yes,
he really is. Yeah, he's a
but
meme.
the guy can ball, man. I mean, England's definitely at the top of the world, and I have huge expectations for them as well this upcoming World Cup.
Oh, would you
Just
say that they're a
most like,
candidate to win it?
what I've always said. I've always told my buddies we talk soccer debates all the time, and
Mm.
England goes where Harry Kane takes them, and the
Okay.
proof is in the pudding. It's right there. You look at the results. You know where they lose. Harry Kane hasn't shown up. The missed penalty. Uh, you
Oh,
know,
that was tough.
yeah,
Yeah,
it was tough, but let's see, man. Harry Kane is only getting older. He's already what, 30, 31?
he's
You
up
know,
there.
yeah. So by the time the next World Cup comes, I mean, let's see what form he's in, because again, they're gonna need the number 9. But
Oh
I'm
yeah, for sure.
excited for that World Cup.
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah. I'm excited for that one too, man. Nah, I mean, it's gonna be here at home. You'll see. I don't know. Hopefully, they don't
Definitely
blow
trying to
up those
catch a few
prices
games.
too much. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was telling my kid, I was telling my
Hmm.
son, I want to go to one game at least. I don't care who's playing. I
Yeah,
want
I
to be
don't
at a
care if
World
it's
Cup game. I don't
Iran
care. Yeah,
against, like
yeah, yeah.
Angola.
Exactly.
Like, let's make it happen.
I'll watch it. Yeah, I'll
You know,
go. I don't care. Yeah,
it's
man.
part of the experience, man.
It's history. It's a World Cup.
Yes.
When 1994 rolled around, I was 6 years old still. I wasn't able to make that call. I couldn't have my parents take me.
And now
But
we can. And let's say
yeah,
we get
now we can
lucky, we
make it
can make it to
happen.
the finals, man. I
We
mean,
can make it happen, man.
it's an honor to have the final here in Jersey. At least we
Oh,
have something good, right?
it is. It is. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, something good happened to Jersey there.
Shit,
Oh
yep.
man, no, but and no, but going back to the Real Madrid thing, you were talking to me before we started recording that you liked some of the points I made in regards to Vinicius Jr. on
Yes,
the
I did.
chance. What is your take on the whole thing with him? And because there, you remember this goalie named Chilavert from Paraguay?
Yes, yes, of course.
So he tweeted out after that press conference, he tweeted out saying, this is a circus. Um, basically saying it was basically insinuating it's crocodile tears. You're the one that goes and provokes and starts fights. Um, Soccer is not for what's the a homophobic slang, a homophobic slur. That is, soccer is not for pussies; it's for men,
Mm-hmm.
is what he said. So, I mean, what was your take on the whole thing with Vini?
Um, I love Vinny. I don't want to sound biased. Obviously,
Of
I'm a
course, yeah.
Madridista. I love him, but I think that he needs to relax a little. Uh, I get it. He has a lot of emotions. It's messed up. The world is, especially now. I feel like after the pandemic, the world turned into a dark corner. There's a lot of hate, uh, a lot of violence going on in the world overall. But Vini does need to keep his emotions together because it's bigger than him. It's we're taking the turning point where we're getting into the Champions League, deep into the Champions League. We have the Clásico up, and we can't afford to lose him. he is crucial to our mission. And it's a shame. It's a shame that all these chants being notorious. You look at videos of the fans throwing bananas at Dani Alves and
Oh, the things
everything.
that yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame. The goalkeeper, I forgot what team it was. After I think it was Villarreal. Villarreal with Senna as captain and everything. The disrespect.
Yeah.
It's a shame. I wish that Spain they've looked into it. La Liga have looked into it. But I wish there were bigger sanctions. But also, I think Vinicius needs to relax just a bit.
Well, I think the owners of the stadiums could do more, because they're privately owned. They
Yes.
could say, hey, as soon as you start doing that, get out. You're out. You send
Hmm.
security, throw them out. You're gonna do that, you get out. Um, but in regards to Vinicius, I think he starts a lot of it too. And he knows where it's gonna go, and he does it anyway. I don't know if I believe in this whole act because, like I pointed out yesterday it was in Spanish, the recording I did yesterday. Um, all right, so you're gonna go and provoke them. You already know where they're gonna go. The fans are always gonna get racial, but you go out and start fights anyway. It's like you're feeding the circus. I I know it's very South American to do because South Americans do that a lot. Hell, I'm Salvadorian. We grew up playing soccer that way too, bro. We go start fights. I used to get called the Taco Boy by the white kids, and that we played against. Um, so I lived it, so I can't say I haven't felt something like that. But I guess we all react to it different. But at the same time, sorry, you got to know that you're the one that starts it sometimes, or a lot of times. You're the one that provokes the fans. You're the one that starts fights with the other players. Um, so you can't act a certain way and then get mad when they retaliate to you. While I'll still, I could say that while still condemning the racism because that's some really messed up shit
No,
that
no,
they're
it's a
saying from
shame.
the stands.
Uh,
It's like, yeah,
the time we're in, I
um,
feel like there's bigger issues that we need to attend to, and
yeah, because I
it's
like,
just
look, man, I could disagree with Vini or I could disagree with Danny Alves when he's playing against me, but I'm not gonna go bash his skin color either. Like that's the lowest of the low. You could, go there. So it's
I
like a
agree 100%.
50-50 for me. Um, my man Vinny, he could do so much better too, because it seems like there's games where he's more concerned about what's going on outside
Around
of the
him,
field, yeah,
mhm,
than when what's
rather
really
than the
going
pitch.
on the pitch. I mean, come on, dude. There's been a lot of black players in Spain that have been loved, by the fans. Ronaldinho, come on,
No,
that's
a great example. I mean, he loved
dude.
Spain a little too much. I mean, after the game,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
la
And Spain
discoteca,
loved him,
party.
and Spain
Yeah,
loved him, and,
exactly,
and
exactly.
Spain
The
loved
legend of
him a lot.
Ronaldinho.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
So I mean, I think, dude, it's like I'm not condoning it because again, it's just messed up. But there's a lot of black players that have been loved by fans. That's what I'm trying to say. Ronaldinho, he was loved by Real Madrid fans. The Bernabeu clapped for him on a game. So they just have a very disgusting way of showing their disagreement with you when they don't like you. I think in
yes,
Spain, you know, um, it's a I don't know, it's just a messed up situation all around, bro. But all in all, man, I wish Vini would cut that off. Cut it out. Just start balling, man, because the guy can play. You know,
without a doubt, he's talented.
yeah,
I saw. We saw him ever since he was pretty much a teenager, turning into a young man, and I was having a conversation years ago, when he first came up with my uncle, and he wasn't impressed. He said that he was a bit raw, that he was talented, but that he would eventually be sold. And I said, "Nah, just be patient. I see the vision. I see where he's
yeah.
going." And yeah, he turned out to be a brilliant young superstar. And
Oh yeah,
again, it's very unfortunate that we don't have the pure number nine to cater to him, but who knows? With the rumor circulating about Mbappe possibly coming, we
yeah.
have to be excited about that. But yeah, just Real Madrid's holding it by itself. Without that number nine striker. How do you feel about that? That's one thing I wanted to ask you.
Mbappe. What if I told you I'm not too crazy about him? About him joining Real Madrid. I'm with you though. When you defended Vinicius, I did the same thing
Mhm.
because I could see the talent was there. I could see the kid had it. It was just a matter of decision making because he would do the right thing all the way up until the very end when he was in front of goal. It was one of
Yes.
those where he could give you like two uh, displays of genius and then finish the play with uh, I don't know, like very juvenile decisions. You know, it was just, but I knew it was there. It just took the right coach to bring it out of him, and that was my guy Ancelotti, man. He's my guy.
Ancelotti's awesome, man. I
Yeah,
mean, and
but
a lot of Madridistas will say, they're very fond of Zidane, but Ancelotti, you got to give
so
him
am I.
credit. The guy is a football genius, and we are in the state we are because of him. It's
Yeah,
gonna be a big blow when he eventually takes on the Brazil job.
I don't think he's taking it anymore.
Oh, he's not. No, I
Yeah, I don't
thought
think yes, I don't think he's taking it anymore. Yeah,
he was
I
due
think
to take it next year.
yeah, no, that's what was being said. But
Hmm.
last I checked, I think they renovated him another year, and I'll check in on that though. But I
Probably
think
maturing
they
for
renewed his
Hendrick too.
contract for another year. Was
He wants
that?
what he wants to see what he has in Hendrick, huh? That's probably what it is.
Yeah, he wants to see what it's like to coach Mbappe.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know.
that too.
Um,
Have a photo
yeah,
dele.
no, because and again, I really think that would have been a really bad decision for Brazil and Ancelotti, because Brazil doing something like that tells me that they're losing their identity and that they're entering like this phase of desperation.
Hmm.
Because Brazil has never had a coach that's not Brazilian. Um, and when a country that has such a strong tradition that does something like that, it kind of shows desperation in my eyes,
Yeah, I
that they've
mean,
kind of lost their ground. That they're losing their identity, which I think they
no,
already are.
I agree with you. And especially, again, piggybacking off what you said, Brazil, they've always paid top dollar for their coaching, for their managers.
Yeah,
So at this point, I feel like they're just throwing money to, what they think is possibly the best manager. But I agree with you. I don't think that it'll work out. I don't think Brazil is on the same level that they were even 10 years ago,
nah,
A
man.
lot of young talent coming up. Got to see what they provide, but it's just a shame. They're getting desperate. Their results haven't shown in these tournaments, and we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, yeah, no. I don't know. It's sad to see Brazil like that, but you know what? I'm more
They're
of an
getting
Argentina
monster.
fan anyway.
I'm
I'm
a
more of an
Belgium.
Argentina fan anyway. So, what's that?
I'm a Belgium guy.
So you like the 2018 quarterfinal?
God, I loved it. I wasn't a fan of the last World Cup, man. What a disaster.
Yeah, that was crazy to see.
The
Nobody saw
whole
that
locker
coming.
room and everything just divided.
Yeah, there was definitely some fighting going on in between.
That was
At halftime.
their last, possible run that they could have had. You know, but
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah, they
need to see
wasted a
it.
great generation.
Yes, they did. The
That
best
was a
generation
waste of a
we've had.
generation. Yeah, that was ridiculous, man. The after they could have piggybacked off of their last World Cup in 2018, where they got to the semifinal and just kept on going from there. But I don't know, man. Egos gets in the way. It gets in the way of success sometimes, man.
Big
It's
time,
hard.
man. De Bruyne, it's a shame.
De
One of the
Bruyne,
best
Courtois, like
footballers
all
I've
these
ever
players that
laid
they
my
have.
eyes on. Yes.
Yeah, man. So yeah, so man, dude, I hate to make such a drastic turn. I'm gonna bring up the topic that breaks our hearts. What do you think about El Salvador, man?
Ah, you should have probably
What's
never
going on
asked.
with us?
um,
Mandingo Rivas and Superman Garcia are probably up in heaven going like, what happened? ¿Qué
it's
pasó con mi querida selección?
there's no direction. We've seen that for the last few years. That there's some promising players. Some a couple of American-born players that they brought on, and there's no results, man. I mean, it's just I don't feel like there's any love for the game down there. I feel like they're just playing for a check. It's a shame
Uh,
what's going on with La Selecta.
I think they're no love for the game by. Are you talking on behalf of the players or the board, the
Everything overall.
management?
I just feel like there's no what's the word? They're not. I've lost the word right now, but I'll get back to you on that. But there's no urgency. That's what it is. There's no urgency to put a great product on the field. That's what I see at least. I mean, they tried. Don't get me wrong. The striker, the Colombian, the Colombian
Yeah,
kid.
Brian Hill. Yeah,
Yeah. Uh, but yeah, I just feel like there's no urgency you see what these other countries in Central America are doing. Like they're just, they're doing their very best with what they got, and some respectable teams.
Oh, that's sad. Yeah, when you see what the neighboring countries are
Yeah.
doing and how they're putting their work in. Well, and it's a thing. It's a concept that they just never seem to understand in El Salvador. That you got to start working from the bottom up. You
Yes.
got to start working
Agree.
from the bottom up. You got to nourish youth talent and build up from there. That's where the secret is. That's look, and it's not even like a new thing. I mean, take Argentina for example. I love using this example. Argentina in the 70s when Maradona was a kid, he grew up in the youth categories of Argentinos Juniors. Argentino Junior, Cebollita. That's where he grew up. They were already understanding the concept of working from the bottom up from your kids. You start nourishing the talent from there and build it up from there. They understood that in the 60s, 70s. They already understood this concept. So they were able to be world champions in 86 and 78, regardless of having poor management at the national team level.
Yes.
Because the league, the local league understood that you have to build from the bottom up. So the talent was there. The talent was developed. So what I'm saying is Argentina was able to win a World Cup despite Grondona. That was the president of the federation back then. So in El Salvador, a lot of us complain about the FESFUT, the federation, and which is good. I mean, they suck at what they do. They're just all around awful. Historically, probably the worst federation in all of Central America, or CONCACAF. I would just say they're the worst out of all of them.
It's horrendous.
Out of all of CONCACAF, and CONCACAF has a lot to criticize. And I'm telling you, I think we got the worst federation. We got the worst people in charge of soccer at the local league level too, because the way the league the way soccer is structured is that the Federation of El Salvador is composed of people from the first and second division, um, and only those people can get out into the federation. So it's garbage in, garbage out.
Yes.
That's Yeah. So the people that get to the fast food, they come from the first division or second division or third, which would be even worse. But it's structured that way. Yeah. And if you listen to these people talk, if you listen to like the owner of Firpo talking, if you listen to the owner of
Hold on, Chris.
Alianza,
Sorry to cut you off.
yeah.
Sorry to cut you off. I gotta hold on. I gotta tend to this.
All
I'll
right.
text you now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'll text you.
All right. All right. So where were we? We were talking about the Federation of El Salvador and what it's composed of. Um, so the system it's basically composed that way. It's garbage in, garbage out. It can You can only have people at the federation, the Salvadoran Federation for the national team, that come from the first and second division of El Salvador, and hence why we have what we have. Um, if you listen to these people speaking in interviews, they have no idea what they're talking about. They have zero vision. They have zero understanding of what a structured club is supposed to look like. Um, they are very, very short-sighted, which I said, already said lacking vision, but they're so short-sighted. They are literally only thinking about, they can't see past next Sunday, is basically what I mean. And this is all around. This is all around our first division. It really is like that. There's probably only one club in El Salvador that can actually afford to pay all their players on time, and that's Alianza, which that team is the death of me. I hate that team, but they take care of their bills in that sense, but they're still not a club. El Salvador does not have a single club in its first division. In all of its first division, it does not have a club, which is sad. It's heartbreaking. It's so pathetic. Um, and then when the national team goes up and plays, we wonder why we're so behind. Uh, and that's why. That's why. Davis is coming back in. What's up, man? You could log back in. Yeah, go for it. All right, no problem. All good. Yeah. All right. So yeah, we demand that our boys show up to play when they get together, but there's just no structure, and there's a reason why coaches like Hugo Perez and David Doniga, um, they start looking to bring in players and from outside of Salvadoran borders because what we have in our local league is just not enough. It's just not enough, and even with players like Roldan, Zabaleta, Amando Moreno, um, you name them, Joaquin Rivas, it just hasn't been enough. And these are good players. Don't get me wrong; these are very good players that have been coming in, and it's just not hasn't been enough. The work has to be done at the local level. It has to be done because you have 11 players on the field. 2 or 3 players from MLS can reinforce your team. That's a reinforcement, and it's a good thing. You need reinforcements, but they are not the solution. They can help you, but they can't solve your problems for you. You can't expect an MLS player to just come in and make up for everything that you did not do in the last 15, 20 years. You just can't. It's illogical. It's brainless. And the worst thing of all is that you have the press in El Salvador that makes people think that the problem is a player, the problem is a coach, that the problem is those players that were born in the US, that they are the problem. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's brainless. The whole system from the ground up is just it's it's got no foundation, it's got no direction. Um I hate to say this because I love my selecta. I love my national team. I'm Salvadorian American, man. I was born in the US. When it comes to soccer, that's my team right here. These are my boys. This is what I fell in love with it. That's just who we are. Um, when the World Cup comes around, yeah, I'll cheer for the Mexicos and the US's and the Costa Ricas. But I mean, it's not the same. I mean, it's like drinking Pepsi when you really want a Coke. You know, it's like drinking a Coors Light when you really want a Corona. It's not the same thing. Um, and again, it's heartbreaking to see that we just can't get out of this hole in El Salvador. And there's more, and it seems like the more time goes on, the more reckless things are getting. 'Cause right now, the federation is not even a federation; it's a normalizing committee or a normalizing commission. I don't know what the exact uh, or the more direct translation is for it, but they're a temporary board. That's not the actual Salvadorian Federation. Um, and even that is very unorganized. There's lawsuits going left and right between this group that is temporarily the Federation and sponsors. Um, back and forth. They're both suing each other right now. There's a lawsuit one way and there's a lawsuit in another way. There's a lawsuit for the former coach Hugo Perez against the Federation right now, and there's another lawsuit from the Federation to the coach that came in after Perez, which is Ruben de la Barrera. It's a whole cluster bomb of just fights and again zero direction because there's no way you can have direction if there's 4 lawsuits going in every different way. Um, Regardless of what side you're on, if you're a Perez fan, which I am, or if you're anti-Perez, which there's a lot of dummies that are, um, you know, it's just there he is.
There we go.
What's up, man? All right, so
What's
I've
up?
just been talking about El Salvador situation, brother, man. Um, I think I'm just gonna paraphrase it, bro. Uh, I was saying there's no sense of direction when it comes to the board. When it comes to our club presidents, there's actually no club in all of El Salvador soccer. In the whole first division, there's not a single club. Those are just teams, but they're not clubs. A club has, for one, it has a clubhouse. It has different categories of players from ages U9, U11, U12, and up, and you nurture talent and build it up in home, you have coaches that are actual formational coaches, coaches that'll build your kids from the ground up. They're prepared in this sense. They have the proper licensing for stuff like this. Um, and again, I mean, there's we have a press, a Salvadorian media that is complicit with all this shit. Um, that they lie to people and they make you think that the problem was Roldán and or all the players that were born outside of El Salvador.
Mhm.
They lied to people and made them think that. Um, they don't. They cover up basically for the fact that we have a terrible league, probably the worst league in Central America. I'm not exaggerating. We really have the worst league. Um, and we can't build a national team that way. There's just no way. There's no way. Yeah, your national team has to be nurtured by the talent that's produced in your league. Yeah. And there's none of that going on. There's none of that. I can't name a single player or a single club right now that could say, hell, I built up this player from the ground up. He came to us when he was 10 years old and we built him up from there. Nobody can say that. Nobody in all of first division. Um and right now there's like lawsuits going left and right between the current board of El Salvador's federation. So you have a sponsor that's suing them. They're suing the sponsor back. Hugo Perez is suing them because they haven't paid him their clause um, when they fired him. You know how there's a clause on the contract that you have to pay a certain amount when you fire a coach, and the federation is also suing the guy that came in after Hugo Perez
It's all a shit
because
show, man. It
yeah,
really
it's
is.
a
I
shit
mean,
show. Yeah, and there's like no say when there's this much going on. That means there's no way to be able to work with a vision, regardless of which side of any argument you're on. Like if you're a pro Hugo, which I am, or if you're anti Hugo, which some dummies are,
no,
Um,
no. Uh,
yeah, it's just there's just no way to defend it. Like what's going on right now, Like I'm not even anti Humberto Sainz. I'm not anti him. He's not like not my first choice for this job, but I'm not anti him either. I'm just there's just no way to defend what's going on right now, and you're just looking around like, how the hell is a national team going to move forward or move with any kind of direction when the guys at the very top don't have a direction? I actually feel bad for the current coach because I think he's pretty good too.
yeah, yeah. No, it all goes way back. Back what 40, 50 years ago. You see the talent we took, even though we got humiliated by Hungary, the talent we had back in the day, and that's when, those teams from El Salvador, uh, there was a few good homegrown players, some good national players, but teams like Aguila, teams like FAS, they would bring in, they had their flex. So, for example, FAS would bring in Argentinian players. I believe Aguila was connected with Brazilian players, and they were they never nourished their homegrown talent. And when it comes to just overall over the years, I mean, what a shame. The half the team got caught. Selling games. It's
Dude, it was
unbelievable.
20. It was
It's
23
just
players, and
that
it
was
was
probably
23 players.
oh yes, it sucks. And one of them, I don't want to say it, but I mean, it's a shame. One of our best players that we've had, I think, and Alfredo Pacheco probably got killed over that. It's a shame the way he died over,
Yeah,
over in his hometown. But that was a great generation. Uh, we
I think they
weren't World
silenced
Cup
him.
bound at that time, but that was a great generation of players. Quintanilla, Alfredo Pacheco, even the goalkeeper Gomez and all that. It was a great bunch of players, but unfortunately, they sold themselves.
There
That
was
disgraced everything.
Miguel Montes was a great goalie too. So was Dago Portillo, who was
Mhm.
also selling games.
Mhm.
Um, the defenders that were, I'm sorry, the defenders that were caught in that, they were also great defenders. Anaya,
They were
Marvin
great teams, man.
Gonzalez.
I remember they
Yeah.
used to give Mexico. I remember the slogan that they had in one of the matches against Mexico.
Oh,
What was it?
I
Al
hate that.
Mundial no
I hate that
llegamos,
slogan.
pero a
I
México
hate
le
that slogan,
ganamos.
man. I hate that slogan, brother. Dude, I hate that slogan. I hate it. It's like, dude, how the hell? Why would you say that? Why would you say that shit? Why?
I agree with you, but at the time, anything to believe. They were
It
great
sounds
teams,
funny. It sounds funny,
but
right? But it's dumb, man. Like it's like we're saying, oh, I'm content with not going to the World Cup as long as I beat
But we're
Mexico.
gonna
Like
beat
what?
them exactly. Like
Yeah,
let's
like
ruin
what?
their
Why?
moment right there.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
like I don't care if we don't beat them again as long as we get to a World Cup, bro. The World Cup is the biggest thing out there.
Always.
Me personally, I don't care if we ever beat them again as long as we get to the World Cup. That's my way of looking at it, man. Because nobody outside of El Salvador, nobody's gonna remember you for beating Mexico.
No, it's
And
about
I'm
getting to
just
the cup,
yeah,
and
it's
hopefully
about
with the
getting there.
expansion that they've been talking about of adding more countries able to participate. Hopefully we could clinch that, man. I feel like we need a moment. We need one of those moments.
Dude, we have done so bad that there's 48 countries in the next World Cup, and we're still not even a candidate. Like we're not even among the favorites list to make it to this next World Cup. Like
And you
that's
look
how
at the
low we've gotten.
Americas, and that's why you look at the Americas, and you can name a whole bunch of teams that are way, 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 way better,
Yeah,
playing better football. I mean, for God's sake, you even see the Dominican Republic. They're getting
yeah,
they're getting better at our own sport. It's a shame.
yeah. And the problem is never. It's not the lack of talent. It's the lack of vision. It's the lack of work. It's just not being put in, man. I can't insist on that enough. And it really can't be that hard to just put a club together. I mean, I mean, unless you just really can't see past your nose. But like I see clubs all over the place here. And I get it that sometimes you need money. Yeah, you need money. Okay. Um, but the lack of money, it's only an excuse, or it stops being an excuse when you're just not trying, you know? Because if you're trying, I get it. It's hard to make ends meet, but you're not even trying to make
Not even
something
trying.
happen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
so it's
there's no
just like it's
urgency
not.
at
Yeah,
all. It's like they're content where they
yeah.
are.
And every time
That's
they get interviewed, these club owners, these team owners in El Salvador, they say, "Oh, we're money's it's scarce. It's hard. It's like they want you to feel sorry for them. Meanwhile, you haven't paid your players in 2 3 months, and I'm supposed to feel bad for you? You know, like come on. It's just I could go on, man. I could go on, but you know what? Let's finish this off, man. Let's talk about boxing.
let's
We're
do it.
both big boxing fans, man.
Yes, yes.
And bro, how was the weekend?
Oh, it was a great fight. Uh, we both aren't big fans of Rolly, uh,
No.
and that's we can say that with pride. It's just I don't know. I just feel like as of lately, he's been mocking the sport of boxing. So for him to
So
get his ass handed to him, it was a pleasure to watch. And let's be honest, Pit was just a better fighter overall, man. The guy has technique, and
dude,
hopefully we can get
the two
another Tank and Pitbull.
that would be amazing, man. That would be amazing. Yeah. Yeah, I'm all in for that one. Tank versus Pitbull 2.
Yes,
That dude, that could easily be a trilogy, even if Pitbull loses again. I would
I'll
want
throw
to see
my
that
money.
fight again.
Always,
I
always.
don't
I mean,
care.
he's the
Yeah.
one that gave
Yeah.
Tank a run for his money, and
That's been his
I
hardest
love
fight so
Tank,
far.
and I love Tank. We
So do
all know
I. Yeah.
I love Tio. He's my favorite Teofimo. He's my favorite boxer at the moment. I remember texting you when news came out. Hey, I'm retiring all of a sudden. Like, no way, we can't believe that. He's in his prime, but obviously he return.
I
Um,
knew he'd come
but
back, man.
always, man, always. He has so much to offer, man. The guy's just skillful. That fight against Loma, was just unbelievable, and hopefully he holds it down. But yeah, I mean, the state of boxing right now, we got a lot of young talent. 'Cause Ryan Garcia, you got to give it to the kid. I know people are mocking him. He's had a crazy rough couple of months. Um, but there's a
I
lot of
believe him though.
matches I want to see him. I believe him too. There's a lot of matches I want to see. I wouldn't even mind seeing a Garcia Tank Part 2. You know, it's
Without the
all for the
rehydration clause.
yeah, exactly, correct. No excuses this time around. But
That one
yeah,
pissed
yeah.
me off, man.
I like where the state of boxing is, and a lot of great fighters. What do you think?
All right, so Ryan Garcia. It pissed me off because I think Tank would have won regardless. He didn't need that. He did not need that rehydration clause in there because again, this is one of the things I don't like about boxing right now. And I know that was a Mayweather idea, because that's how he rolled when he was a boxer. And I respect Floyd, man. I like his, I'm a big not that I'm a like his biggest fan, but I do admire his defensive genius, and his ring IQ inside and outside of the ring is, the man's smart. He's
So
smart. You got to give him that. But
one thing I've
I
noticed
just,
when it
yeah,
starts, one thing I've noticed with the Mayweather conversation is that if you're a boxing purist, you love what he did throughout his career. It's the technique, it's the defensive work, and that's what a lot of fighters lack nowadays. If we can name one of the fighters off the top of the bat that has great defensive work, Canelo, he's great defensively too. But what he brought to the table, is just beautiful. It's a master. It's a work of art. And don't get me wrong, there are some fights that question whether he get won. Cotto gave him a run for
yeah.
his money as well. I mean, that's Cotto is another one of my
I
favorite
think
boxers.
I think Maidana beat him.
Maidan as well.
Yeah,
You scratch yourself. It's all politics. But
yeah. I
you
know
still
some of
gotta
these
respect.
decisions are
You still have
political.
to
Yeah,
respect. You still have to respect what he brought to the table. Great legendary career. A master of
yeah.
defense.
No, see what I was gonna say is that my favorite style of boxing is Mexican style boxing. I love it. I don't compromise my taste. Now, I'll understand somebody else's style and why they choose to go with it. I understand why Mayweather was so defensive because that's what made him rich. That's what made him,
Yeah.
win. Then by all means, do it. Make your paper. But when it comes to styles, I prefer Mexican style boxing. That's why I love Pitbull. That's why I love
Great. The
yeah,
heart.
dude, Chavez. Did you? This is the beautiful thing about Chavez and YouTube is that I could see a lot of his fights
Oh, I
against
look back all the time.
Camacho.
His highlights and
Yeah,
everything
against
from it. Yeah.
Camacho, Melder Taylor. His fights with De La Hoya, the second one where they just brawled, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, look, or what's another one? Morales versus Barrero. I've watched all three of their fights a lot. My favorite one is by far the first one. Um, what's another one? Pacquiao versus Morales, the first one, especially. I love that fight. I mean, dude, it was just. I love seeing brawls. I'm not gonna lie. I know it's not the smartest way to fight, but it's what we like to watch.
There's nothing better than watching two boxers just
Yeah,
beat the shit out of each other, man. In all honesty. But
yeah, I know.
yeah,
I
that's
mean,
what
it's
I tend
just
to do. Oh, especially on my free time, I look back, and watch older videos, these boxing matches, Seth Judah, all these other Lennox Lewis, all these great matches, Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali, know,
yeah,
the GOAT, great. That's the beauty of boxing.
yeah. No, I could watch George Foreman. I could watch George Foreman on the comeback
Dude,
all
Butterball.
day.
Now
Yeah,
that I'm happy, man.
dude.
Great boxing. That's you have to cherish it forever.
Yeah, man. Nah, man. And look, like again, we're talking about today. We talk about Ryan Garcia. I don't think he'll beat Devin Haney, if I'm honest. Even though I like him, I believe everything he's been saying on social media. I believe the kid, man. I believe everything he's seen. But I mean, I know that's a whole different topic. It's a whole different. That's a whole different fight. That's a whole different fight.
Oh,
Um,
without a doubt.
yeah, that's a completely different kind of fight that he's having off the ring. But on the ring, inside the ring, I don't think he could beat Devin Haney. Devin Haney's fought better fighters. Um, I think Ryan Garcia. Again, I like the kid, but he's constantly showing the same mistakes, even in his training videos. I it's like it hasn't changed.
And
I hope
not
I'm
only
wrong.
that, as of lately, I feel like he's just been focused on other things. The whole
Yeah,
drama, around his whole persona. I feel like he's been more for the media as of lately. And when it comes to being a boxer that caliber at that level, that's where Canelo makes a big difference. Canelo, when he's in training camp, it's just he focuses only on his training. And he shows it in the ring. But that's what sets aside these other fighters. It's the fighters that are there for clout and the fighters that are there for the sport, for the love of the dedication.
yeah. Did you see Ramirez? I forgot the name of the fighter that he fought against. It it was a long. I can't pronounce the last name of the guy that
Ramirez, yeah.
Zurdo Ramirez at light heavyweight.
Surdo Ramirez, yes. How do you like
Yeah,
Surdo?
I think he's good, man. I mean, look, I know he took a really bad L against Bivol, um, last year, I think it was, or at the end of 2022. But
Twen- End of
yeah, I think it was at
2022.
the end of 22. Yeah, because
A lot of
he
great
fought
fights in
Zurdo.
2022 as well.
Yeah, because Bivol fought Canelo at May of 2022, and I think he fought Zurdo right after that same year, and he really beat Ramirez bad. But I mean, Bivol is another. He's another art. Um,
Without a doubt.
because I had already seen Zurdo fight before, and I
Mhm.
thought he was gonna give Bivol a better fight, but Bivol gave him a masterclass, bro. He gave him a masterclass. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm glad to see Zurdo finally get a belt. He's a world champ. I'm happy for the guy because I really think he's a good boxer. I just don't think he was better than Bivol that night.
Yeah.
Um, Bivol is just amazing. He's like a boxing robot. He's so perfect, like textbook perfect.
No. Yeah.
Um,
His execution, everything.
yeah,
I agree with
yeah.
you.
It looks like an
Find joy.
animation, or like
Yeah,
it
he
looks like
does.
something out of PlayStation. Like it's so
It's
so
unbelievable.
robotic, so
Mhm.
perfect.
Flawless. This
Yeah,
technique is
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, man. So I mean, look, man. I mean, how do you feel about? I mean, I didn't get your opinion about Ryan Garcia against Devin Haney. Who do you think is winning that one?
We're on the same page. I think Devin has just been better as of lately.
Yeah,
Uh, we were talking off air as well that I think Ryan Garcia got exposed against Tank. I mean, Tank Tank was going to win regardless.
yeah,
That one punch really nailed it, but I don't think he's been the same fighter since Tank. And, I just think that on another level right now. And I got
yeah.
Devin.
I think Devin Haney is gonna win that. I really hope Ryan could beat him though. Um, Only because
If
I'm still mad at how Devin Haney beat Lomachenko. I think
and
Loma got robbed in that fight.
not only that, I feel as if Ryan were to win, I feel like the boxing world, there's much better possibilities when it comes to matches.
Oh
When
yeah,
you're
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about,
It'll boxing will get a shot in the arm, I think, if
yes,
Ryan Garcia wins. I think so, yeah. And
and I know fans are grunting. They want better matchups.
yeah,
You see, some of these boxers, these champions, going at the end of the day picking these fighters. It's not Dana White, but hopefully we can get to that one day.
boxing needs a Dana White, yeah. And we had
Without a
one.
doubt.
Unfortunately, the one that we had was a scumbag like Don King, but he gave us the fights that we wanted. I'll give him that. Um, and look, it's just the way boxing is right now. The best boxers avoid each other just to create like some kind of buildup in order to sell the fight when it finally happens and make more money when it finally does happen. I think it's a whole
No,
money
yeah,
making
it's the
ploy,
promo. The promo's what's making
Yeah,
money lately, and let's go even to Tank. Tank, great fighter when it comes to promos. Not as good in my opinion, but
yeah.
that's just how it's been for the last 30 years. It all goes back to De La Hoya against the Mayorgas. It all goes to Mayorga. Slapping what's his face's wife's name in that one
Oh,
promo.
Shane
Sugar
Mosley.
Shane, yeah, it's just
Shane Mosley,
that's
yeah.
how you sell fights. Even looking at Conor McGregor in UFC too, the guy's phenomenal. When it
It
comes
was
to his
so
microphone
easy.
work and everything, he makes it
Yeah.
flawlessly. He's like, I'm gonna just
It
give
was
you 3
so
rounds.
easy. It was
It's
so easy
unbelievable.
to hate Ricardo Mayorga. It was so easy to
But I
hate
loved
that
him.
guy, man. You
A
remember
lot of
that?
people hate him. I love the guy. I thought the guy was an absolute beast. He would take
He was a street fighter, man.
stupid. He would take beatings for no, like just come on, rock me. If you're man enough, rock me right now. I love it.
Yeah,
I love those
yeah.
vicious fighters. But Mayorga is definitely one of my childhood favorite
Oh
fighters.
yeah, my favorite Mayorga fight was when De La Hoya beat his ass.
Oh, that was another great promo, by the way. That's the one I was trying to take. Some
Oh yeah.
explicit words were said, for
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Oh, De
but
La Hoya even
great
told him, man.
promo, man. Great fight.
De La Hoya even told him, it's like, hey, I'm gonna knock you out. And De La Hoya never
Made a
talked like that
promise.
before.
Yeah,
He
he's like,
never
I'm gonna
talked like
knock
that
you out.
before. Yeah,
He
De La Hoya was.
disrespected me, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
knock you out. And
Yeah, he's like, you got under my skin. You
yeah,
you brought up things that you're not supposed to bring
yeah.
up, like La Raza and my wife. You don't bring that to the table. You don't talk about that. And I'm going to knock you out. Told him, I was
He
like,
went
I've
crazy.
never heard that guy talk
He
like
went
I
crazy
never.
from his
Yeah,
wife's promo line to he's like, Mexico has my back, you know. He
Yeah,
went on crazy. He spoke
yeah.
crazy, but that was a great fight, memorable fight. So I don't know if you've been online and you've been seeing, the whole De La Hoya promoting and everything. People talking about who would win, Canelo or De La Hoya. Prime, obviously. Who do you think would win that bout?
De La Hoya.
I agree with you. And a lot of people are saying, it has to be at the perfect weight. And they're talking 154. I mean, De La Hoya is just next level. His prime, you
Yeah,
can't.
154, 147, which was right around there, which
I would say
were
154 is where that fight
yeah.
would have taken place. But
Oh,
De
that
La
would have to
Hoya,
be, yeah, yeah.
yeah, but De La Hoya is just, a master
Well, I
class.
mean, Canelo would have to go down in weight
Yeah,
a lot.
a lot.
Because once you start going up in weight, it's harder to come back down. I think, and he's been fighting at super middleweight for a long time now.
Yeah,
I don't think Canelo would be able to go back down to 154. That fight would have had to have been like at least 3-4 years ago, I think maybe, in order for
never
having a
looked
shot
back.
at making that weight happen. Yeah, because I think the highest that De La Hoya went was 160 against Hopkins,
I believe that's it. Yeah,
right? Yeah, I
triple
think I
extra
think
weight
that's the
against
highest he
Hopkins.
went.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then it didn't go well. It didn't go well, man. It was.
No, not at
I
all. I
mean,
mean, yeah,
De La Hoya was giving him a fight until that liver shot, body shot that then folded him.
brutal.
Um, yeah. Hopkins was no joke, man. B Hop was no joke. But I I would say at 154, I got De La Hoya kicking his ass just because of
His technique, man. That's it.
yeah,
That's about it.
no,
Great.
it's his technique and it's his ring IQ and just the fact
Yeah,
that De La Hoya comes from a time where you ducked nobody. He
yeah.
fought everybody that there was to fight.
Like I said.
Canelo, he's great, but he's a
Hmm.
part of this game now where you avoid fights as long as you can. And he should have fought David Benavidez a long time ago.
Triple G
Um,
as well.
Triple G, he made him wait for that third fight until he was old. Shit like that is just I'm not fly. That doesn't fly with me, man.
And every boxer does it
Yeah,
too. But it's
yeah,
been a little more obvious as of lately with
yeah.
Canelo.
Everybody does it now. Everybody does it
We get
now. Yeah,
excited every
everybody.
time he signs a contract for a fight, but we look at the fight and we're like, can you do a little better, man? Please,
Yeah, like when
we're
he just
still
fought
gonna be
Charlo,
there,
and I'm like,
but
yeah,
come on, man,
when
we
he just
want
fought
those
Charlo, he just fought
blockbusters.
Charlo. Yeah, he
Yeah,
just fought Charlo, and the guy hadn't fought in like 2 years, and
yeah,
he's a 147 fighter, and he fought him at what 168, I think, or
yeah.
160. And I'm
We
like,
want
I
these
mean, come on,
blockbuster
man.
fights, man. That's what we
Yeah, I
want.
mean, yeah, and you just got Charlo just went up to the ring to get his ass beat for 12 rounds. I'm like, it was a boring fight. It was a one-sided fight. Um,
Lopsided, man. He just completely dominated.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, again, this is why I got the edge. I take the side of a lot of these old school guys over what's out there today because of just what the way their career went. From the '90s and back, boxers fought everybody. Man, they weren't ducking.
No,
They
not at
weren't
all.
doing that shit. No,
They
they
fought
just,
for their respect. Don't get me wrong, the payday as well, but it
of
was for the
course, yeah,
respect. They were like, "Oh, this guy,
yeah,
they think I can't beat him." They, right to it.
yeah.
That
There
was
was a
the beauty of
pride to it,
boxing.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah, there was a pride to it. You want to fight the best one out there, and you just did it. De La Hoya fought everybody that there was to fight in his time. Like there was no, I mean, you could criticize the way he went around Trinidad in that ring, but
mhm.
other that was his corner. I'll defend him. That was his corner, and he shouldn't have listened to that. But and you know what? He took the L for being a dumbass. Um, he could have won that fight too. But other than that, man, I'll take De La Hoya over Canelo any day, man. Any day.
It
That
was a
jab of De La Hoya's.
yeah
Remember, De La Hoya, he was naturally left-handed, and he fought orthodox. So that
orthodox.
means his jab was super strong. He was naturally left-handed. That jab was, yeah, it felt like a cross. And his lead hooks. I mean, jeez,
It was
it he
it was just a fun
and
little comment I seen, and then it kind of got some traction on comments and everything. So I was like, oh, that's something fun
oh,
to
you got
bring
that
up.
off. Oh man, the YouTube comment sections, man.
Oh,
That's yeah. You'll lose 30 minutes And
You be
before you
wanting to
know
scrap, man. That's when you become a real keyboard warrior at times too. You know, like,
it. Yeah,
but
that's true.
that's the beauty in sports, the baits. You know, the baiting.
Yeah, bro. But all right, man. Look, man, we hit an hour. We hit an hour on our first
Good.
one. So look, man, I think we'll call it a day here, brother. Um, and we'll be talking, bro. We're gonna make this happen again. I had a good time, bro.
This was so much fun. I'm
Yeah, right.
so happy we finally got the first one out of the way, and so
Yeah,
excited for what's to come, man.
yeah, man. We'll bring people in, dude, and we'll just talk, man. I mean,
Do it for the love of
yeah,
sports.
and hopefully, one of these days, man, La Selecta will look a little better. Look, man, their last game against Honduras was not bad. I don't know if you saw my first recording. Did you hear it at all, or?
No, I missed that
All
one.
right. Okay, all right. So
I'll
go
look
back
into
to it.
that.
Look, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't the first half especially, they look really good, man. That 3-5-2, I think there's something there. Um hopefully one of these days we'll be saying good things, man.
All we ask for is competent football. I'm not asking to be a powerhouse, you know, that's a reach, but competent football. That's all we want.
To be
Respectable.
competitive in the region once more,
Yes.
Yeah. And start from there.
That's what we ask. Yep.
Yeah, man. But all right, brother, man. This was fun. We got to go catch a Red Bulls game one of these days, man.
Yes, we do. Go have a few beers, some hot dogs. We in there, man.
All right, brother. All right. Good night, everybody. This was a lot of fun. I hope y'all enjoyed this too, man. I'm Christian Bears, my friend here, David Lemus, and we're checking out. Bye bye.
Thank you so much, Chris. Have a good night. Good night,
You
guys.
too, brother.